Good morning, travelers. Today is December 17th, 2022. It is the second day of my trip to Antarctica. We are currently at sea, sailing towards the Falkland Islands.
Let's go.
We will be spending 2 days in the Falkland Islands after this. And right now it is breakfast, it's 8:30, and then we have a mandatory biosafety security meeting at 9:30. We also have our boot and parka party later today. There's another mandatory briefing, and then we also have a photography meeting and a bird meeting, both of which are optional, but I'm planning to go to both of them. The ship is very shaky. If you've been on a cruise before, this is not your regular cruise. You are sailing through the end of the world. It's not gonna be like your regular Caribbean or Princess or Disney cruise. This is an expedition cruise, which means that the itinerary we have is very easily subject to change. The expedition leader was saying that we usually start out with a plan A, and then you have B, C, D, E, and F, and you usually make it to around D or E. The wind speed is at about 30 knots today, which is perfect albatross weather. They've already spotted some albatross around us. I saw some seagull flying beside us outside our veranda. So after breakfast and after our mandatory briefing, we're gonna go up on the deck to see how many birds we can find. Alright, it's a buffet breakfast today, so I'm gonna grab some stuff, eat before our mandatory biosafety meeting at 9:30.
To protect Antarctica. With regard to our process and protocol for getting off the vessel,
we have finished the 2 mandatory briefings that we had for today. It was the biosafety and then the Zodiac. So they put those 2 together, and now we have the parka party, the boot party. We don't need to go to the boot party since we already have our muck boots, and then there are some waivers we need to sign before lunch. Let's go get fitted for our parkas. When you're going down to get fitted for your parkas, I cannot emphasize this enough. Make sure you wear all the layers that you're going to be wearing under your parka on a normal expedition day in order to get the best fit parka. My GoPro has automatic stabilization, so you can't see how much I'm shaking while recording this, but look at the size of these waves. This is the room where we're going to be fitted for our parkas. On your way out, you have to tell them what size you have, and then you need to sign for your parka. This is included in the trip. Everyone gets an albatross parka. The only smalls they have, I am jumping around trying to film this. The only small that they have is in the non-waterproof size, so we're going for a medium in the waterproof size. This thing is huge. I can grab a fistful of it. I can probably fit another extra layer underneath it. I am already wearing an extra one. You can never be too warm in Antarctica. I'm outside on the veranda. There are albatross everywhere. It is truly an Antarctic sight to see the waves absolutely crashing onto each other, getting sprayed a little bit, and then seeing the albatross swooping above. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna take some pictures. I don't think I've introduced you guys to Kola. He is my new best friend. He is a penguin from Ushuaia. He even has his little label on him. So we went up to the top deck and took some pictures. The jacuzzi had been drained. The pool is also drained. I don't know when those are going to be filled. They had also tied all the chairs together, and they had taken the cushions away, which in yesterday's vlog we saw that the cushions were everywhere and the chairs were everywhere. So since we're on sea, they've taken care of that. We are going to go eat lunch right now. It's shaking so bad. The ship is shaking so bad. So many people are seasick. They had to schedule another parka party for the people that just could not make it out of their rooms and couldn't even make it to the mandatory briefings. They had to watch them from their rooms. It hasn't even been the first 24 hours. It's what time is it? It's 12:56 right now. It hasn't even been 24 hours. Guys, when I tell you this ship is shaking, and the photography expert, because there's one on this voyage, told us that this is the absolute calmest it gets. Drake Passage did me like twice, thrice this. People are throwing up. There are bags lining the hallways. It's a big, I need to put this in my pocket because it's a big part of this voyage. It's a big part of traveling to Antarctica. There's a rule, and they say that you need to keep one hand free at all times so that in case there's a jerk, you can grab on to one of the railings. Travelers, it is almost 7 p.m. I did not get a chance to go to those lectures because I slept through them. So I am going to the lounge right now where we will have a briefing about tomorrow's outing to the Falkland Islands. Let's go. Our itinerary tomorrow for the lovely Falkland Islands. This is actually our first day at port. We're not really going to have a port anywhere except for Stanley, which will be day 2 of our Falkland Islands, but this is going to be our first day not at sea and out on the Zodiacs. I covered Zodiacs briefly in my day 1, but what Zodiacs are is basically, since there aren't any ports, you can't just go up and dock. So the ship will anchor, and then we'll get out on these things called Zodiacs. They're basically these inflatable tiny boats, tiny compared to the ship. They carry about 9 to 10 people, and then we'll go out and then you make wet landings, except for in Stanley, which is the capital of the Falkland Islands. There'll be Zodiacs throughout this entire trip. So since there are rules and regulations to traveling in this remote part of the world, and we want to conserve the wildlife and keep the nature the beautiful way that it is, only 100 people at a time can go out onto the land. And since there are going to be 172 of us once we pick up everyone from Stanley, they've split us up into 4 color groups. Now you're gonna have group A and group B. Each group is going to be comprised of 2 color groups. So group A will go in the morning, and then they'll come back, and then they'll have lectures in the afternoon. And then group B, it'll be vice versa. They'll have lectures in the morning, and then they'll go out in the afternoon. So we are in color group blue. I almost said B. We're in color group blue, and we are actually going to be going out first tomorrow. And groups A and B switch for priority. I am overly excited to see the penguins. We also do have the captain's welcome toast, so we are going to stay here for that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you are awake, that's good. Well, on behalf of the officers and crew of the Ocean Victory, it gives me tremendous pleasure to welcome you on board this expedition to the Falkland Islands, South Georgia and Antarctica.
Now that we've covered the briefing and we have had the captain's welcome toast, we are headed to the Beagle restaurant for dinner. It is a la carte today since it's not turnaround day. Dinner is over, we finished dinner, and we are heading back out onto the deck to take pictures of albatross. You can get such good shots at sea because these birds are circling the boat. There are so many of them. Literally, look at this. Alright, travelers, that is the end of this day of Antarctica. Tomorrow we hit the Falkland Islands. Thank you for tagging along with me on this one, travelers. I hope to see you again soon. Bon voyage on wherever you're off to next.